Identifying the wounds is important because a wound should be documented in terms of size, type, shape, site, and location like in any other injury. Also, they are required to investigate and deliberate the cause and manner of the injury, the entry and exit characteristics, distance and direction of the fire, if it is a gunshot wound, in the vitality of the wound. Injuries may result in death due to the hemorrhage, organ damage, and wound infection. This information can be extremely important in the determination of the manner of injury, especially in fatal wounds, to assist medical, legal, and criminal investigation on whether the injury was suicidal or homicidal. In rape cases, virginity matters on women who are alleged in rape and on women who are accused by authorities of prostitution, as part of public or social policies to control sexuality. The purpose of this medical legal statement is to provide legal experts, adjudicators, healthcare professionals, and policymakers with an understanding of the physical and psychological effects of forcibly conducting virginity examinations on females and to assess whether, based on these effects, forcibly conducted virginity examinations constitute cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or torture. This opinion considers an examination to be forcibly conducted when it is committed by force or by threat or force or coercion, such as caused by fear of violence, duress, detention, psychological oppression, or abuse of power against such person incapable of giving genuine consent. In gunshot wounds, the purpose of identifying the site of the application of force is the appearance of the wound may be affected by putrefaction, charring, presence of multiple projectiles, overlaying of the injury by clotting, as well as by injuries sustained by ricochet or fragmentation of the projectiles or bones. In any other wounds, it is significant to identify the site of the application of force to assist in the identification of the weapon used, and as I have mentioned a while ago, that this information can be extremely important in the determination of the manner of injury, especially in fatal wounds, to assist medical, legal, and criminal investigation on whether the injury was suicidal or homicidal. Medical expertise is crucial in that investigations. It begins with body examination and evidence collection at the scene and proceeds through history, physical examination, laboratory tests, and diagnosis. The key goal is to provide objective evidence of cause, timing, and manner of death for adjudication by the criminal justice system. The goal is also to establish the cause and manner of death. Once the dead body is disposed, it becomes a Waterloo of investigator because medical experts as well as the investigators will not be able to examine the dead body, which will be a crucial part in identifying the culprit of the crime as well as the nature of the crime that occurred. If the sperm donor is the biological father in case of artificial insemination, he is not given any rights with respect to the resulting child if the woman who received his donation is a married woman. The husband of the wife shall be the legal parent of the child. In the question wherein does the child produced from artificial insemination have the right to know his biological father, in modernizing our laws, it is believed that the identity of the sperm donor should be disclosed to allow the resulting child of the donation or the child's prospective spouse to know if they are related by blood if such is important to them. Ronald is the father of the child since the child was conceived after the death of the husband. The child is considered legitimate of Ronald. Our paternity laws, being founded on antiquity, relies on presumption in determining the paternity of such child. It is believed that a child is conceived during the first 120 days of the 300 days immediately preceding the birth of the child. Hence, if the child was born before 180 days after the celebration of the second marriage, It is presumed to be the child of the first husband, provided it was born before 300 days of the death of the first husband. But the situation is otherwise, wherein Che remarried Ronald 300 days after the death of her first husband and gives birth to a child after the celebration of the second marriage. Under Philippine law, the child is presumed to be the legitimate child of the husband who shall exercise all the rights of a father. The husband, who is Rico, is the legal parent of the child, although the boyfriend was the biological parent, who is Ruel. Under those circumstances, Ruel has no rights with respect to the child and vice versa. The child cannot inherit from Ruel, who was his true father, and Ruel cannot inherit from his biological child. The subsequent marriage of Rona and Rico will not change the status of the child, which had already been fixed at the time of its birth. Rona and Rico, however, may adopt the child to level up its status. If, on the other hand, if the biological father, who is Ruel, married Rona after giving birth to the child, the status of the child improves from illegitimate, its status becomes legitimated. Ben, who is the sperm donor and the biological father in case of artificial insemination, is not given any rights with respect to the resulting child, who is Maria, if the woman who received his donation is a married woman. The husband of the woman shall be the legal parent of Maria. In reality, Maria and Silveria are half-blood siblings who are not allowed to marry under ordinary circumstances due to blood close relation. The law, however, does not prohibit their marriage, and yet they will not be allowed to marry another child of his legal father, even though they are not all related by blood. The subsequent marriage of the mother to another man will not change the status of the child, which had already been fixed at the time of its birth. The husband and the mother, however, may adopt the child to level up its status. The adopted child is treated under the law as the legitimate child of the adopters. In this case, wherein the biological father married the mother after giving birth to the child outside the lawful wedlock, the status of the child improves. From illegitimate, its status becomes legitimated, wherein it is not necessary to adopt the child to make it legitimate.